What is up? What up, what up, what up? Holla at your boy. Positive side, Jeremy Todd. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you $1,000,000 for tuning in. This is going to be obviously a special weekend coming up. Mother's Day weekend. It's going to be beautiful. One of my favorite days of the year by far. Because obviously without the mothers, we're not here. We've got nothing. So I'm going to get into that in just a second. I wanted to hop over here to iTunes real quick and get an awesome 5-star review from my buddy Brandon Hanley. He's got a podcast called Fatherhood for the Rest of Us. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. It's awesome. It's about parenting, obviously fatherhood. You can also check it out on Facebook, Fatherhood for the Rest of Us, and fatherhoodfortherestofus.com. Check that out as well. But Jeremy, I'm inspired by your positive message. Feels good to hear someone out there looking for good things in life. It is also motivating to see how far you've come in such a short period of time. Keep it up. Brother Brandon, thank you, my friend. You and I, my friend, we're blowing up together. Let's continue on this path. Let's knock it out. But in all seriousness, check out his podcast. It's pretty good. Fatherhood for the Rest of Us by Brandon Hanley. And it's a good transition. We're going from fatherhood for the rest of us to motherhood for the rest of us, because really that's what this weekend's all about. And I wanted to go back in the time machine a little bit and talk about how fortunate I've been in my life to have really two mothers. I've got my birth mother, which, she had a tough go of it. I mean, she's had a tough go of it forever. But she raised 5 kids. I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I'm right in the middle, and I was obviously the biggest handful of them all. But I tell you what, she worked 2 jobs, went to school, got a degree, really didn't make any money the entire time, but I never wanted anything. I always thought about that, and I was she also gave me the freedom to kind of do what I want. Some people say, well, it's, I was doing whatever I wanted anyways, but the freedom to go out with my friends, spend time, work hard, go play baseball, and she never missed anything. It was unbelievable. If I wanted to play basketball, I played basketball. If I wanted to play baseball, I played baseball. I was very, very fortunate. And when you're growing up in that lifestyle, we call it the '08 district back in Fort Wayne. When you grow up in the '08, no one has a lot of money there. But you never wanted anything, because I never saw the other side of the story. This is the lifestyle I knew and I lived. But it was just amazing, because, the older you get, you always say the older you get, then you start realizing some of the things and some of the struggles that your parents went through. I look back and I'm like, well, you never realized we were poor. We never realized we didn't have any money. And that's all credit to my mother. She, like I said, raised 5 kids pretty much by herself. I've got a Down syndrome sister. She's now 27. Well, she'll be 27 in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And did all that. I mean, so you're talking about a special needs sister, another sister, and then 2 more brothers, and me, to raise kids like that single-handedly. It's a miracle I made it out of there alive. And all my family is very, very successful. My brother's a doctor in Boston, or he's a professor in Boston. Big Mike Roberts, which I love him to death. I haven't seen him in a while. That's due. My sister's a teacher at Fort Wayne. She teaches at Catholic school. My younger brother's a big shot at a ice cream factory. And then you got my little sister, Victoria, which is still plugging away. I mean, again, Down syndrome, 27 years, living at home. My mom's still taking care of her every single day. It's unbelievable. You don't realize the stuff that you go through as a child till you get older, until you understand to really appreciate it a lot more. And then the good side about what I had is my mom and dad divorced at a very young age. I think I was 5 years old. So what that gave me the opportunity to do was have another mom. I had my stepmom, but she's really not a stepmom. My mom, Jan, and she was on the other side of the story. And she basically, by the time I got into high school, I got kicked out of my mom's house because I was a complete delinquent. And my dad and my stepmom took me in. And, again, it was never one of those things it was never a question. They opened their doors wide open, kind of let me, it wasn't like a strict household. It wasn't, put your thumb on here, this is what you're going to do. It was more out of a respect household. You wouldn't want to do something wrong because that's disrespectful to your family. And that's really what I've grown up with. I owe a lot of that to my dad and my stepmom, because when I got kicked out, it was just one of those things. I mean, I had all my stuff my mom put all my stuff on the front porch. And it was one of those things she had to do. She had no choice. I mean, I'm selling drugs out of the house not out of the house, but selling drugs but what was I, 15, 16? Brutal. I mean, brutal. But, never got arrested, thankfully. Smart. I had some street smarts growing up in the '08. But my dad and my stepmom took me in. So on the stepmom side of the story, she was always the one that was there that always supported me 100%. I never had to worry about a single thing. If I wanted something and my dad said no, I knew I'd go to my stepmom and talk to my stepmom about it, and she would, 9 times out of 10, she would say, well, what would your dad think? And then, of course, I'm thinking, well, I don't know if I should do this or not. And she'd let me make that decision. And that's the blessing that I've had, a lot of people have one mother, and I understand that's through divorce, and people say, well, sometimes it's tough. It is tough in a lot of situations. But I look at it on the positive side that I had 2 mothers growing up the entire time. Like I said, my stepmother's been there since I was age 5. So that's another mother of mine, and I've been very, very blessed. Now my kids are blessed that they have, now they have 3 sets of grandparents. You got my wife's parents, and then 2 sets on my dad's side and my mom's side. So we've got the best of all 3 worlds there too. So really, there's always ways to look at a divorce and say that's a tough side of the story, but sometimes there's a positive side of it, and this is the positive side. It just didn't work out for my mom and my dad, and that's okay. Things don't work out sometimes. I never heard them talking bad about each other or anything like that. I know that was the credit to them working through the relationship. Never heard my stepmother talk anything bad about my mom. A lot of times they'd have each other's backs. I mean, that's the relationship we grew up. It just didn't work out between my mom and dad. So bless me to have 2 strong women in my life to help me grow up to the person that I am today. My stepmother owned her own business. She cut hair for 50 years. I mean, my goodness. I mean, she ran her own business, had her own salons. I mean, she's done everything. She's been all over the country. And that's kind of given me the freedom. And when I talk to her about some of these things, she's one of my biggest supporters. And I owe a lot to both of my moms. And then, obviously, I've been married for 12 years now, or 11 years now. So, again, I've got the strongest women in my life. And without the strong women in my life coming up for Mother's Day, there's no way I would be where I am today in this life. There's just no possibility. So on this weekend, I want you to look at your situation. And then again, I know we go through tough times as growing up. We lose loved ones. We get in fights. We don't talk to any of our family members, whatever the case is. But this is a weekend that we sit back, check the ego at the door. And if you're upset with your mother, if you're concerned about your mother, you haven't talked in a while, this is the weekend to pull it all together. Life is so short. Get together with Mom this weekend. Sit down. Tell her how much you love her. Tell her the things you've done. It'll make a huge difference for you. But more importantly, it'll make a bigger difference for her. The older we get, we don't know how much longer our mother's going to be around. And this is a very important day just to hit that reset, to remind ourselves that we are very blessed to have mothers in our lives. And it doesn't matter, like I said, if you're not getting along, check your ego at the door, swallow your pride, be the one that makes this relationship a little bit better. I promise you it'll make a huge difference. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. It's all about moms this weekend. Like I said, we don't like to take our podcast very long. Do that little tip I told. Call Mom. Tell her you love her. It'll make a big difference. Call Grandma. I mean, boy, oh boy, without even talking about grandmas, my goodness, I've been very blessed to have the best grandmothers in the world now. I don't have any grandmothers left. They've all passed away. Grandmother I had my most recent a couple years ago. It was absolutely heartbreaking. And I guess that just goes to reiterate the point that you don't know how much longer your mother's going to be here. Spend time with them, call them, tell them you love them, tell them I love them, tell them everybody loves them. It doesn't make it a big old love fest this weekend. I appreciate you tuning in. 5-star review. Check out the website. Blah, 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 blah. This is The Positive Side.